Yeah, it was a good time. That Broadway is 6 or 7 blocks of just bars.
Yeah.
And they said that on a Saturday night, there's 250,000 people on that street.
No,
Damn.
It was, and all the fronts of the building are open, and there's just bands playing, and It's just noise.
Yeah.
It's just constant noise.
No, thank you.
You can't tell what's what. You can't.
Is there a lot of rock, or was there a lot of country?
It's
everything.
a complete mix.
Really?
So we went to Printer's Alley, which is right up from Broadway, and that's blues and jazz.
Okay.
And we spent all Saturday night there.
Nice.
And that was it was busy. It didn't get busy until 10 or 11 because they're open till 3.
Yeah.
7 o'clock at night. There was no one there. So we got to listen to bands, and
that's awesome.
Music starts at 10 a.m.
Wow.
It's insane.
And just goes, is there a curfew or anything? Or
No, and it's open containers on the streets. And
nice.
Yeah, it was.
Have you been to
police?
How's it compare to bourbon?
I've never been. I've been to New Orleans. I've just never been during Mardi Gras. I would say comparable.
Yeah. Sounds just like Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
So minus the Creole.
I want to avoid.
We definitely took naps.
Yeah. Pace yourself.
I'm planning a vacation just for that.
Just naps.
Just for naps.
Places I'm going to take naps.
Heck yeah. It was a good time, though.
Cool. Well, welcome to News with Chill podcast. I am your host, Chill. Today we'll be reviewing Conclave from 2021.
It's 2021?
No, 24.
24. I was it just got nominated for Picture of the Year. How the hell is that possible?
Conclave is a religious political drama directed by Edward Berger and written by Peter Straughan, based on the book of the same name by Robert Harris from 2016. Starring Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow. Did I say that wrong?
It's Tucci.
Tucci. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yes.
Isabella Rossellini.
Mm-hmm.
After the passing of the Pope, Dean Lawrence leads a conclave to elect a successor while uncovering mysteries and politics. Today, as always, I'm joined by David and Lee. How are you boys doing tonight?
What's up?
Oi, boys.
Oi. Recommendations of the week. What have you guys been watching or doing this last couple weeks? So I figured we could, if you wanted to, we could broaden our recommendations from TVs and movies to just anything. I know I do.
We've talked about some video games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I got the ROG handheld like Dave did.
Yeah.
And been trying certain things. Won't play Doom.
Really?
Yeah. It says I don't have the right driver. And when I go to try to put the driver in, it tells me the driver doesn't have access to modify the system.
Dark Ages or OG?
Dark Ages. The new one. I don't know. I've got to figure it out.
Yeah. I'll try it. You said Doom?
Yeah, Doom.
Yeah,
Dark
I'll try
Ages.
downloading them when I go home to see if I run into the same issues.
Yeah. It's 70 gig.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's big.
Yeah. I'm buying an SD card this weekend.
Hell
Good
yeah.
Lord. It's only got 500
I
megs on it.
finished the Blueprints game I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It took me 86 hours to do it.
Wow.
But it's so deep.
Dang.
When you think you're done, you're not. And when you think you're done, you're not. And I finally got to the point where I was you're done. There's nothing else for you to do.
Go away.
Go away now. Well, I was just watching something, though, and I was I can actually say
I watched something new.
I watched something.
Didn't you see a movie?
Oh, yeah. I went and saw Sinners.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I loved it.
Yeah.
That was great.
I'm saying
My dad liked it.
It's top tier. I thought it was fantastic.
For sure.
Yeah, the music in it is so good. The acting's great. The story's great. Very original. Mm-hmm. It's creepy.
And it's not like a vampire movie till halfway to the last.
If you didn't know
going into
it, you would never expect it.
No.
It's out of nowhere. You're holy crap. Yeah.
Kind of like From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, it has that same kind of surprise to it.
Yeah.
These vampires though are so creepy.
Yeah. Yep.
Because they're likable. You don't dislike them.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Highly recommend that movie.
Yeah,
if you haven't
it was
seen
great.
it.
Check it out.
That's great. We're going on video games. I've been playing this game called Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
I just downloaded it last night.
Yeah. I haven't played the first, 1 through 32, but this one's...
Shut up. That joke wasn't funny the first time.
He's laughing. So
He's got his New Balance on tonight, so it's
yeah,
fine. Yeah.
this is good.
Terrible.
So this game's all about the story. It is turn-based, which is kind of a deal breaker for Lee. But
Everyone says that though, and then they play it and they're like,
and
"Oh,
I'm like,
crap,
wow,
it's
this
really
is
good."
actually really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're playing for the story. Not saying that the turn-based is bad or anything. And one interesting thing too is that each character has their own mechanics to their turn. Like it is turn-based, but each character has their own mechanics that go along with it.
Oh,
So
cool.
there's another layer to that. But then that's not your thing. Then the environment is amazing, or the sound. I've listened to the soundtrack 4 times
And
all
it's
the way
made
through.
by what, like 14 people, I think.
It's like
made
30
this?
people,
Yeah.
something crazy.
Yeah.
And then
They left
they've got
Ubisoft to.
Charlie Cox is a voice actor for one of the characters, and then you've got Andy Serkis, and everything's
I hear
just
it's like in line for
top-notch.
top game of the year.
Oh,
like,
I would not doubt that it would be game of the year
Yeah.
for this year. So
Cool.
I was like, okay, and I was starting to fall off, and then into Act 1 happened out of nowhere for me, and I was like, yep, I'm going to finish the game. I got to now.
Yeah.
I have to.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I know what
Anyway,
happened.
don't spoil it.
I
He
won't.
just downloaded
I'm not
it.
going to spoil it. I'm
Don't
not a spoiler.
Don't spoil it.
Spoil it.
Hang on,
Spoil
hang on,
things.
spoil
I'm just saying,
spoils.
I know what happens.
Why did we pick Conclave?
I think just the mystery of the whole. No, come on. We elected a new pope.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was it. And I mean, it was nominated for Picture of the Year. And so it was kind of like a drama mystery type movie.
Right?
Yeah.
So just what is all the hype about?
Yeah.
And the list of actors in it alone.
Right.
It's like,
You're sold.
yeah.
It's got Voldemort in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Stanley Tucci.
Dude, lovely bones.
Yeah. He's good in everything. Devil Wears Prada. He's great in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got John Lithgow.
John Lithgow.
So,
Can't beat him. New Dumbledore.
yeah.
That's weird.
What was the first time you guys watched this movie?
Sunday.
Yeah, mine was a couple weeks ago.
Same. Whenever it came out on Max.
Yeah,
For the
that's
first
when I
time.
watched it.
Yeah. Icebreaker is, who do you think was the most interesting religious figure or person?
In the movie or
Or just in
or-
general?
Oh, in general. Most
Man, there's so many of
I
them.
know, right?
Because you can go from crazies to,
Yeah, I'll abstain.
yeah, I mean,
Well, if you guys want to look up.
religious figures. I mean, if you think about like the story of Moses and,
Yeah.
I think that's just super interesting.
So,
Noah and the Ark. You can't help it how much there has to be some truth to something, but at the same time, how much is word of mouth through word of mouth, the phone
Exaggeration
game.
and stuff. And then same with and they lived for 857 years. And you're
Yeah,
like,
but then, what was a year to them, type thing.
Yeah.
so, but
The Da Vinci Code in me says Mary Magdalene.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good answer, though.
So I actually had Pope Leo the First or Leo the Great because of the new Pope is now named Leo, right?
Ooh, Leo the 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I wonder why he picked that of all things. So I looked it up, and I guess Leo the First or Leo the Great was around the same time as Attila the Hun was going through, and he was actually like rampaging through Europe and conquering all of these different places.
In Asia.
No, Europe. So
really went
he
that far.
gets all the way to the city of Rome, and Pope Leo is one of 3 people that is sent out by the empire to talk to Attila the Hun. They said that Pope Leo went in to talk to Attila, and then he walked out. Attila was just like, all right, let's go. We're done. Move on out.
Attila the Hun, maybe, but, I'm dumb. My world history's terrible, and I'm going to get laughed at for it.
And they have no idea what he said to him.
No.
The balls on some people, huh?
Probably what he showed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a holy nation ready to roll, son.
Ready to go. Attila the Hun. Yeah.
We're about to kick off some crusades
452.
here
Is that
shortly.
who I was saying?
Yeah.
Attila the Hun? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he basically just went in into Attila the Hun. Like they rolled up on Attila the Hun's camp. Like they didn't meet him halfway. They
rolled
literally
up on him.
Went up. He went into this tent, talked to Attila the Hun, and then they were like, Attila the Hun was like, all right,
Pack
let's
it
get
up.
on it. We're not going over after Rome.
Pack it
And I
up.
was like,
Wow.
that's insane. Pretty cool. Yeah. Learn something every
Man.
day.
Just to wonder what they talked about.
I know, right? Let's get into the movie before we get into spoilers. Conclave has a runtime of 120 minutes. It premiered August 30th at 2024 at Telluride. Wide release date of October 25th, 2024. Had a budget of $20 million and grossed $124.5 million.
Man, they're going to make a second one.
Yeah, right. Any guesses for top box office of October of 2024?
Last year.
October. Yeah. Not even, like 9 months ago?
I know. I can't.
I couldn't tell you, man.
I got nothing.
Number 1, The Wild Robots.
I saw that. It was good.
It was good.
Saw it on Peacock.
Yeah. 2, Venom: The Last Dance.
Didn't see it.
Didn't see it.
3, Joker Filet Deux.
Didn't
Nope.
see it.
Nope. 4, Terrifier 3.
Didn't see it. I want to see it, but haven't seen it.
5, Smile 2.
Seen it, and it's terrible.
Haven't seen it.
6, Beetlejuice.
Saw it? Wasn't bad.
Saw it. Okay. Yeah.
7,
Good sequel.
7, Transformers 1. No. It was actually pretty solid.
I hear it's really
It
good.
was actually pretty solid. Yeah. I know. 8, We Live in Time.
I don't even know what that is.
Nope. 9, Conclave. And 10, Piece by Piece.
Well, I can see this movie not being a blockbuster.
Draw.
I could see it like over time
It's a thinker.
doing very well.
Right.
It's a thinker, and it's not. I mean, how do you advertise this movie? A bunch of bishops in a room talking about who's going to be the pope next. I mean, yeah, there's no real mystery to what's happening in this movie. It's political.
Yeah.
It's a political movie.
The performances are great. And the way that I was pitching it to Lee whenever I initially saw it was it's basically just A to S tier actors just doing their thing, sitting down having conversations, because there's not a whole lot of action. There's not even any action in it. You know what I mean? It's literally just
I think somebody walked out of a room quickly once.
right. They stormed off, and then a lot of people raised their voices.
The part where the roof, that was exciting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but they never really go into any of that.
No, just car bombs.
It
No
is
big deal.
most definitely they are in Conclave. They do not really know what's going on, so it's interesting.
So, in the wake of Pope Francis's death in April 21st of 2025, numerous sources have cited by this film for its accuracy in detailing the conclave process. When the Pope is found deceased, he is asked 3 times if he is dead before the Sede Vacancy. Does that sound right?
Sure.
You're our resident Latin expert. So
Sounds good.
it is
It's great.
declared.
Latin approved.
Right. Costume designer Lisi Christie was unimpressed with the red robes the cardinals currently sport, deeming them to be too drab. She chose a red used in the 17th century vestments as they were much more vibrant. There you go on that.
That's pretty ballsy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shit's drab.
Yeah, too drab. Shut it
Spruce up.
down.
Get
Just
it.
spruce it up.
We don't want it.
We got to make it pop. I'm going to make that red pop.
Right.
The handsmaid's tale up in here.
Oh my gosh. In 1533, John II became the first pope to adopt a papal name. He thought his birth name, Mercury, was inappropriate because it was also the name of a Roman god. The last pope to keep his own name as a papal name was Marcellus II in 1555. So, interesting. Because I always kind of wondered, like, well, what's up with the name? You know what I mean? Is there major significance to it?
Well, I know that when you get baptized, you choose like your saint's name,
Right,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't realize. I mean, it's the same with the
Yeah.
Queen. You know, she's the head of the Church of England, so they kept the tradition when they separated from the Catholic Church,
Right.
And she kept Elizabeth, but
Yeah.
you don't, you know,
It's interesting.
yeah.
You guys want to talk about
It's
anything
also something
non-spoilers?
that I think that they think about a lot, right?
Yeah.
So the room that they go to afterwards that they are dressing the new pope in,
Right.
they have all the different sizes depending on who gets chosen.
Mm-hmm.
That's called the crying room.
Wow.
Because the person who gets chosen as the pope usually does not want to be pope.
Right.
But it's not up to you.
Yeah.
You've chosen the path, and if you get voted as the pope, you're the pope.
Yeah.
And so, you know, being a Catholic myself, I think about how crazy it is that, like, his life is done. His personal life is done, really.
Yeah.
He can't just choose to go to a birthday party at a
Yeah.
sibling's house or go on vacation, and you just don't do that. So, I can see that being just overwhelming.
Oh, completely.
And-
And then for the new one that we just have, he's from Chicago.
Right.
And then it's already like, oh, his brother, we got to get his brother on for an interview. Or,
Which is
oh,
funny,
we gotta
in the interview that they're talking to the brother, his tablet's going off, and it's the Pope calling him, and he answers the phone,
Yeah.
and he says hello, and he was like, "Why haven't you been answering the phone?" He goes, "Just so you know, you're on TV right now." He goes, "I'll call you back." But it's crazy that at least technology has gotten to the point where the Pope, and yes, he's from Chicago, but I think in his 30s he went to, was it Argentina? Where?
Yeah.
Is that where?
Right.
Is that where he went?
I think so.
And so he spent 40 years there.
Wow.
And they were the ones that sent him. Like, he's part of that sect of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Not the United States. But, their old baseball from not even 40 years, I think it was like 20 years ago, where he's sitting in like the White Sox. And like the camera's on him.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, he's just a fan.
Yeah.
He's just a fan watching the game.
Yeah.
And they're like, here's the Pope watching the Chicago White Sox. So crazy.
Yeah.
But I feel for him. I think that is...
It's crazy.
and also
new
it's rules and like everything is up to him and sheesh.
And now everything is so politicized because I remember someone, he's the first American Pope, but he gave his first speech in Spanish or,
Because that's where he's from. He speaks 7 languages,
right?
Which is mind blowing.
Yeah.
So he's a very intelligent man. And I do like that he isn't liberal and he's not far right. He's right smack dab in the middle. And he's like a common sense type of guy.
Yeah.
That's right. That's wrong.
Yeah.
The end. Kind of nice. I feel for him, and this movie, you get it.
Yeah.
Because that's really what this is about, is who wants it. They're probably not the best Pope.
For sure.
Doesn't want it is probably a good selection if they've done what they're supposed to do, and craziness.
It is. So would you guys recommend people watch this? And if so, who would you recommend watch Conclave?
If I was going to recommend it, I think that I would explain what it is first. It's a drama about picking a Pope.
Yeah.
You choose if you want to watch it or not.
Yeah.
But, I would recommend it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it to people that I know like dramas and, tense situations. And
You don't even have to care about the Catholic faith to think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Because it's just the mystery behind all of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just unraveling.
And I guess they did it like almost to a T. And it was funny. I read that some of the bishops that were going to this watch Conclave to see what it would be like, because they had done so much research to make this movie right. And even the Pope had watched Conclave before.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Well, let's get into spoilers on your count, Lee.
Yeah, go ahead.
But first... Trivia.
I'm going to be terrible at this.
Yeah. Question 1. What was the first thing done after the Pope had passed and the archbishops prayed over his body?
Take his ring off.
I have medallion was popped off the ring.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which is, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And what's that ring called?
There's a specific name to it, but it's skipping my brain.
Because the Pope literally just got his like 2 days ago.
Yeah. And I wonder if it's the same medallion that they keep.
I think
that gets passed from one ring to
I would
another.
guess that I would guess that it is. I mean, why would they pop it off?
Right.
Yeah.
Ring of the Fisherman.
Yes, the Ring of the Fisherman.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Question 2. What time had the Pope passed?
Oh, man. I don't know.
9:00.
Around 11:30 p.m.
I was a little off.
Where
I knew it was
were you?
nighttime.
Where were you?
Right.
Where were you?
I was in the United States of America.
Yeah.
Likely story.
Question 3. Where does Cardinal Trombe reside over? So he was John Lithgow, this character.
Oh,
I don't
So
know.
where is
I don't.
he?
I don't remember.
Cardinal.
He did something in the Vatican, but I don't know what he did.
Canada, United States, Canada, because he had like an English, like an American accent,
I don't know.
but it wasn't the United States. I'm going to say Canada.
That's correct.
Cool.
Nice.
Couldn't tell you.
Question 4. How many ballots are shown to be held throughout the movie?
8. It might be more than that, but I'm going to say 8.
I think it's 9.
I got 6.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't know, because there were sometimes it was like a montage, so I didn't know if there was like just going through it.
Right. So what name does the newly elected Pope take?
John.
Is it John?
Yes, it's John.
I want to say Innocence or something like that.
No, it
right?
is Innocent. Shit.
Innocence.
It was
Innocent.
Lawrence that wanted John.
Yeah.
It's Innocent.
Yeah.
Pope Innocent. That's correct. Bonus question. What is the longest conclave to ever be held in the Catholic Church? And it's going to be Price is Right rules for the number of days that it was held.
40.
It wasn't in the movie.
40.
I'm going to say,
Price is Right rules.
without going over, I'm going to say 12.
So technically Dave is correct, but from December 1st, 1262 to September 1st, 1271, following the death of Pope Clement IV, was the largest papal election in the history of the Catholic Church. This was due to primarily to political infighting between the cardinals, and it totaled 1,006 days. For 1,006 days, they would meet up, they would vote, and they could not come to a conclusion as to who the new pope was.
I mean, that's just being a whole bunch of douchebags at that point. I mean, seriously.
Let's just see some Baji votes for Sisumbaji.
Who ended up winning it? Do you have that?
I don't have that.
I mean,
no.
come on,
I'm
Calvin.
sorry, man. I'm sure we could look it up.
Well, I mean, I'm just curious on like who they finally were like, all right,
Yeah.
after 1,000 days. I mean, did they stick to Conclave, like where they were in and couldn't talk to anyone? And
I'm assuming so.
do you think everyone went home and stopped waiting for the smoke?
So the election of Tablo Visconti, better known as Pope Gregory
Italian.
X, as the first example of papal election by compromise, quote unquote. That is, by the appointment of a committee of 6 cardinals agreed to by the other 10. This method was adapted once before, but the choice of the committee refused to honor the full group of cardinals
Was only
proceeded to elect.
16 cardinals back then?
No, they had a committee of 10.
They were probably like, we got to
And then
figure this out.
Then
It
they
says it was a committee. It says it was a committee of 6 agreed to by the other 10.
by the other 10. Yeah. But they said that the choice of the community used the full group of cardinals proceeded to elect the pope. So they only took 10 people. At least that's what I'm getting, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's correct.
that's craziness.
That is crazy.
So let's get into our long form discussion.
Short term. What do we say? Not long form.
Not so long
Not so
form.
long.
Not so long form. Yeah.
Basically, it starts off with the former pope passing, and all of these cardinals are in there and basically praying in Latin over her body. And our main character is selected by the former pope to be the dean presiding over the next conclave, and basically establish structure to having all of these cardinals from across the world come in.
He's
and-
pretty much the last say
yeah.
in all of it.
And he's basically hosting the
Yes.
the entire event.
His job is to make sure everything runs smoothly.
Right. As well as the head nun who's in charge of like food and cleaning the rooms and stuff like that.
Accommodations.
But they're not allowed to leave
The conclave.
the conclave, which consists of, it's like a dorm room. I don't know where they're at. It has to be like a college or something.
I think it's in the Vatican.
It's in the Vatican.
Yeah.
But like, at the end of the dorm room is where the Pope
Passes.
Yeah. And his room is sealed off. And they seal that off until the end of conclave.
Until it's unsealed.
Yeah, until it's
And
unsealed.
There's like for current times, there's like no phones, there's no interference. They don't want to know anything that's going on in the outside world to affect their judgment or decision of who they select as the new pope. So
Right.
nobody can look up news or anything.
Except he does ask for, and he tries to keep to that as the leader.
Yeah.
But there's circumstances going on in Rome with terrorists.
Yeah.
And so he's like trying to keep up on that as well. And he has an outside priest.
Right.
That is, he's kind of communicating.
go-between.
Yeah, go between, like, find out about this, go look up this.
Yeah.
Now, what is this about? And that priest is going and getting him information. So,
Right. All of our 100+ cardinals from across the world come in, and then
it's like Mean Girls. They're like, oh, there's so and so
Yeah.
with his group of people, and there's so and so,
and they're voting this way, and they're these are the traditionalists, and these are the progressives, and these are the so on and so forth.
In-betweeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get a
They're all,
last.
I like that they're all in the courtyard smoking cigarettes.
Right.
They can't leave, but they're all sitting there in groups smoking cigarettes
Yeah,
together.
and they're just chatting the whole time. We get the addition of one of the cardinals comes over and he's like, hey, so apparently we have this other cardinal that's saying that they're from
Kabul.
and we've never heard of him. Do they have the correct paperwork? Yes, it's all signed off.
Yeah. he
Vincent
was
Benitez. Benitez.
Yeah.
Yes, he was
Of
sent
Kabul.
his secret parish basically in Kabul, Afghanistan, which the literal translation of pilgrim in an unholy land.
Right.
Wow.
And the Pope was fully aware of him and invited him. Like
Yes.
he
He
in
sent him-
secret. Yeah.
He sent him there and then, thought it was his duty to come and vote in the conclave.
So it's interesting. So he's a Mexican born, right? And just so like our Pope is American born, but was in
North America.
Right.
They were saying that he was selected.
Yeah, there was a term for it.
He's selected in proctore, which basically is Latin for, and it's within the Catholic Church. It's often used where there is a papal appointment to the College of Cardinals without a public announcement. The Pope keeps the name of that cardinal to himself, and it's basically just to maintain secrecy for that person's individual if they're going to like a war-torn area or something like that. So, and that is that's a real thing apparently that happens. So
the first part of it is really you're just getting to know everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
And like there's like 4 major players, right? There's Aldo Bellini.
Yeah, Aldo Bellini.
And he's from the
Stanley
United
Tucci.
States, and he's progressive.
Extremely.
Yeah. And then there's Joshua Adeyemi from Nigeria.
Yeah.
And he's a social conservative. And then there's Joseph Tremblay from Canada, who's a moderate. And
the Italian.
Goffredo Tedesco. Tedesco of
Yeah.
Italy. And he is a staunch traditionalist.
Yes, absolutely.
But then we also get introduced to the Archbishop Wozniak.
Yeah.
He's the prefect of the papal household.
Yeah.
And he's the one that he says
Papal.
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 You sure it's
Thank you.
papal?
Yeah.
Said I took Latin.
It's papal.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Tells Lawrence that the Pope demanded Tremblay to resign before he died.
Yes.
He was in like the last meeting with him.
And he's like, why didn't you tell me this?
Because it didn't happen.
Earlier.
Because it didn't happen.
Yeah, Tremblay's like, it didn't happen.
Ask my good friend, Monsignor Morales, who's standing right there. He'll tell you.
Never
nothing
happened. Nothing. I don't know why it's a big deal.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
My word against yours.
Wozniak was in the room, and I think he was like cleaning something up or something like that, or he was
He
outside.
spoke to the Pope after the meeting happened, and the Pope told him what happened. And then he died.
Yeah.
The Pope did. Yeah.
So,
And Wozniak seems like the type of character that he's like
a drunk.
Yeah.
you know, like, I don't want to tell you this, but I have to tell you this.
Yeah.
Hello, I have to tell you this. I don't have time for this, is basically what Lawrence says to him. But he talks to him anyway.
And turns out, my word versus yours, so there's not a whole lot we can do. And then that night, Lawrence is in his room, and then he hears doors opening and shutting outside, and then he hears a woman
Shouting.
Yeah, the shouting. Yeah.
with one of the cardinals,
He goes outside his room and he sees her
this nun.
walking away rather briskly and the door slamming. So he's like, what's up with that?
What's going on?
What's up with that? So the next morning at breakfast, here's the good nun again, and she comes up to Adeyemi and causes a big to-do. He yells at her, and she goes away and goes to be consoled by Mother Superior of the Vatican. I don't know what the technical is.
Yeah.
What's she in? What else has she been in? Was she in
the
a
Mother
like
She's been in a
a
lot of stuff.
was she like in a Mission Impossible movie or
Possible.
Isabella Rossellini? She's been a lot.
Yeah.
Blue Velvet, Death Becomes Her. Yeah, that's who they bought the poison from, or the
What?
She was in Conclave.
What?
yeah, that's who they bought the potion from in Death Becomes Her. Was the
Have you seen Death Becomes Her?
Nope.
Yeah.
she was in Wyatt Earp. Okay,
Been in a lot of stuff.
I mean, I immediately recognized her. Lots of foreign films.
Dean Lawrence speaks with Shanumi, which is the nun, and he's like, listen, if you like to profess your sins, then I can't say anything because of confidentiality. So she basically confesses to him that cardinal
Adeyemi from Nigeria has fathered a child with her.
with her 30 plus years ago.
Yeah, 30 plus years ago.
Yeah,
So then he goes to...
but who was it? Was it Tremblay that
Tremblay is the one that we find
But we
out
didn't-
later.
we didn't know.
Yeah.
Way later in the film, Tremblay's had her, that exact person, be at the conclave to start shit, to embarrass him,
So
to
there's
throw him out
all
of the
this just
running.
normal political bullshit going on.
Right.
Yeah, and his votes went from the 30s and 40s down to single digits on the very next vote.
Yeah.
So we see how the temperament of the conclave can be swayed within seconds
Yeah.
of your popularity.
Well, I mean, your closet's opening, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you have anything, someone's going to find it, and someone's going to tell everyone about it.
Yeah.
Right.
And they usually know about those things before the conclave even starts. Mm-hmm. And for the sake of this movie and the dramatic effect, everybody's...
My fault.
That is your fault.
Hold on.
Oh, hang on.
Let's just make sure it's not work related.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Okay.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
I know.
He wants to make fun of her. Look at him.
Of course.
You betcha.
The Joy-Con controllers come with the little slide-on pieces, so it can be an actual controller.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Who are you buying these for?
Well, Well, I'm thinking about buying a Nintendo Switch.
The new Nintendo Switch comes out in like 2 freaking weeks.
I know, but that means the other ones are on sale really cheap.
All right.
Facts.
And the new one's not worth
like
it.
$200.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, that's true. Get it.
Yeah, and you know me, I just want to play Mario Party.
Yeah.
I do know. You're on the podcast, by the way. I have you on speakerphone.
Oh my gosh. This makes it on the podcast.
Oh, it's going to make it on the
It'll make it on the
podcast.
podcast.
It's being recorded right now.
You're just so lucky I didn't have my normal.
What up, bitch? Every time she calls me, I'll answer. She'll go, "What up, bitch?"
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that this was an S tier conversation.
Hey! All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you too. Bye. That would be my assistant manager.
Nice. Attack on Titan.
No,
the different
that's
one.
Kinsley.
Kinsley.
That's Ashley, who I've been friends with for 20 years.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's the one that has the movie that she can't remember.
No, Allie is. She's just Allie's
There's
like
a different one.
Yeah, Allie. I work
Got a
with
stable.
mostly females,
Yeah.
but Allie is my supervisor. She's like the actual assistant general manager.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well, don't tell her.
Assistant to the general manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, don't tell her which review that she's on. Just
So
let
she
her
has to listen to all of
listen
them.
to all
Yep.
of them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she called me. It sounded like she was crying. I was like,
Yeah.
"What's that?" And she goes, "Does the little thingy come with the Joy-Con that makes it into like a controller?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yep.
Yeah, they come that way.
I love it.
Sheesh.
It's awesome. They're starting these votes, and basically they have to have, 2/3 majority of the conclave to be able to elect the new pope. Each day we're getting Tedesco has 63 and Lawrence has 9, so forth.
Bellini's got 15, and
Yeah.
then there's a conversation between Bellini and Lawrence because Bellini doesn't want to be pope, but he doesn't want Tedesco to be pope either. So
Yeah.
the lesser of two evils is he's pope, and then it ends up Lawrence actually has aspirations to be pope as well, even though he professes that he doesn't.
He doesn't want
He
to.
does.
But again, to some people, that makes the perfect pope.
Right.
He doesn't want the burden. But at the same time, Stanley Tucci's character says, "What would your name be?" And he was like, "I don't know." And he goes, "You have one. We all know what our pope name would be." And so that's when we kind of discover that, yeah, he might be a little interested.
Yeah.
He already has
John.
the leadership skills.
Yeah.
He has the ability. He's young. He can control the crowd.
Relatively
they respect
young.
him. Yeah.
Stanley Tucci's character talks to Lawrence and he's like, hey, we don't want Tedesco to be the next pope. So
It's going to have to be you.
your third party people
Need to
sways.
support Tremblay. We can't have Tedesco in there ruining things,
Yeah.
according to them.
And
But
then
again,
there's
that doesn't go as planned.
no, it doesn't.
No.
No, because Lawrence knows that Tremblay fell out of favor with the Pope, and you don't fall out of favor with that Pope for no reason.
Right.
Right.
And if he's asking for his resignation, then he obviously did something extremely bad,
Right.
which comes to light in the third act of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically what happens, Tremblay was committing what they called simony, which is buying votes
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the conclave.
Yeah.
He was taking money from the church and giving it to different cardinals for their votes. And they found the paper trail. Well, Lawrence found the paper trail by breaking the seal and going into Pope's apartment.
Yeah.
Finds it in his headboard.
And then he redacts all the cardinals' names that were bought off, but leaves Tremblay's name in there. For why, I don't understand. It should have all come out, but I'm sure it will later.
Right.
And they tell him, like, you're not going to be
The next pope.
the next pope.
You'll never
it's just
be the
not
next
going to
pope.
happen.
Yeah.
Same conversation with Adeyemi. Lawrence went in and told, you'll never be pope. You have to give that dream up. It's
Yeah.
not going to happen. You've already lost all of your votes with that little display. And that's how quick it can happen. And
Even if you had an illegitimate son
Yep.
30 plus years ago, but
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
Chatty Cathy's.
Yep. They all know.
Yeah.
So
At the same time, too, Benitez,
Yeah.
he's getting a
One
handful
vote,
of votes.
2 votes.
Handful of votes
Gets up
here
to
and
6
there.
votes at one time.
Yeah.
And then we have the explosion right as Cardinal Lawrence is casting his vote for like the 5th time. And he's basically praying for something to happen. And it does. Car bomb blows off and blows a piece of the roof off and damn near hits the cardinal.
Yeah.
Almost hits him. There's dust and debris everywhere, and they all out of sorts. So Cardinal Lawrence gathers them up, and it looks like an auditorium.
Yeah, and they've had like conversations in here, and there's really good conversations about who they want to vote for and what they stand for, and they're like, well, maybe not stand for this, maybe don't tell the supporters that. You know what I'm saying? For me, it was really intriguing throughout the time, and one of the most interesting conversations was when Dean Lawrence meets with Benitez, and he's like, hey, so you need to talk to the supporters, and I know that you are voting for me. You can't vote for me because we got to have the numbers for this other guy. We can't have Tedesco win. We have to have these for this person. And
Benitez tells him, I'm voting for who I think would be the best pope.
Yeah. I don't care how long it takes.
I don't care what you want. I believe you are the best candidate for pope.
Yeah.
And Tedesco's stance on all of it is he wants to go to war with Islam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when Benitez stands up and gives the speech.
Yeah. Yeah. The auditorium speech.
Yeah, they're like in a stage area almost, like there's stage seating, and they're all kind of talking to each other, and he stands up out of nowhere and gives this speech
they're
is
all
like
arguing with each other, like both sides of the aisle, quote unquote, are.
Well, Dean Lawrence calls upon Benitez to say something because
everyone else is
Kabul.
Yeah, everyone else
dealt
is like
with this kind of
yelling and screaming. Yeah.
Tedesco's all fire and brimstone, wants to go to war right away, and Bellini is like, we can't just fly off the handle every time something happens. And then Lawrence calls upon Benitez to say something because his parish is from Kabul, and you're dealing with that element all the time.
Yeah.
And he gives an eloquent speech, and as soon as he was done, I was like, that dude just got elected pope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's like, that's the most Christ-like thing I've heard
Yeah.
the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he really just stays out of everything. You can tell him he's just watching everyone.
Oh, yeah.
And,
And he says it because I've noticed that we're just small, petty men trying to get this done. It's the same thing that's been for centuries.
So then we go to the next vote.
Damn it.
Yep.
Benitez wins.
Benitez wins, and he gets the majority vote. So they take him in, and then they discover that he had canceled an
appointment.
a doctor's appointment. I think they discovered that earlier.
There's like plots that lead all the way up through this. So there's little political intrigue that Dean Lawrence deals with the Nigerian and Tremblay and with Bellini, and going through this. So you're kind of getting tossed about what's going on with the story. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, apparently there was like a surgical procedure that he was supposed to go to, like Geneva or something like that for, and then he canceled it. And then one of the nuns come up, and after they elect him as pope.
No, it wasn't the
nun. Who was it?
It was the priest that was giving him this information.
Oh, right.
And he took, because I would have told you sooner, but I had absolutely no thought that he would ever be elected pope.
Right.
Nobody knew who he was to begin with, and come to find out, the clinic was going to he was going to have a procedure to have his
hysterectomy.
He was going to have a hysterectomy.
Done.
Yeah.
Because he has ovaries and a uterus.
But to be fair, he didn't know about this until
he was an adult.
He was an adult. Yeah.
Because outwardly he has the same appearance as a male.
Right.
He just happens to have the sexual organs inside.
But he's like, does that change me? God made me this way, you know?
Exactly.
So what is wrong with me if God made me this way?
So then the whistleblower that blew the whistle on Tremblay, basically Adeyemi, has a choice to make. Do I come forward with this information, or do I let this man who I believe will make an excellent pope be pope? He lets him go. So
he even says too, if I know, then the world will know eventually. And
But I think at that point in time, it is what it is.
What are they going to do about it?
He selects the name Pope Innocence, and
great pope name. It was a great twist to the movie, because you're like, what is going on? Like, what's the deal with this guy?
Yeah.
You know?
They go over and they do the traditional, they burn the votes, and then they put a special charcoal in, and then it doesn't show it, but whenever they select a new pope, it's white smoke, right? Mm-hmm. And so he puts it in there.
A lot of Pope Innocents.
I know, yeah.
13 of them.
Wow.
It's craziness. So he goes out in the courtyard, and then you just hear the crowd outside of the Vatican just cheering.
Yeah, the white smoke.
As the white, yeah.
And he goes to his room and is looking out the window. And
he's out in the courtyard.
Yeah.
Well, he's out in the courtyard. He hears that, and then later on, he's in his room, and I think he's praying or something, and he gets up.
All the shutters open, so they're not sequestered anymore.
And he looks down, and he sees some like nuns chattering and running around, and it's the end of the movie.
That's it.
It's a hard one to review with all the names and the.
Oh, I know.
There's so much going on in this movie at one time.
Yeah.
But when you watch it, it's not confusing. It's just hard to talk about.
Right. You don't necessarily memorize names. You just, oh, that guy. Oh, that guy. Oh, that guy.
Right.
So, interesting.
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
I was pleasantly, I wouldn't say surprised. I enjoyed it because I like we said, the cast alone will get you in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lithgow and Ralph Fiennes and Tucci, and an embarrassment of
Lithgow.
Jules there with that cast, and they all did a great job.
I like them at the Oscars when they talked about how heavy the costumes were.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, our shoulders killed us because those costumes are so heavy.
Right.
That's crazy.
All those robes.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Well, I think the ones in real life are probably a lot lighter.
Probably.
Yeah.
Not as eloquent
No.
as
Yeah.
what the costume designer picked.
Yeah.
From the,
But I mean, set design is like impeccable.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
You would think that they filmed it in the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no cameras or anything allowed in there. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But it feels like it. Don't question the setting. Don't question the acting. It's perfect.
Dialogue
Story's
is great.
Story's
Yeah.
great.
And it's really
Dialogue's
not
good.
something that you would think, oh, yeah, what a great idea for a movie.
Yeah,
Super
right.
entertaining movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it for date night.
No.
but
No.
It's a good.
Yeah, it's great. If you're just going to sit down and watch a movie, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely watch it again. Yeah.
I probably would.
Yeah.
Dave, you want to give our rating scale?
Sure. We have an S through F, S being superior, perfect movie, A being maybe just lacking something, whether it's acting or set design or story. B is a pretty good movie, above average. C is average, D scrap, and F is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with everything on this one, I would give this movie, I'm going to say an A.
Yeah.
Maybe an A+. I'm going to go A+ on it. I think it's really good. There's nothing about this movie I didn't like. Kept me captivated. I didn't realize it was 2 hours. It goes quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go A+ on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. On the other hand, I've seen this movie like 3 times now. I watched it myself, and then I had Chelsea watch it, and then I watched it recently for the review. And on the third time going through, all of the mystery had already been spoiled. You know what I mean? Because I've already seen everything that there is to it. So I didn't personally get a whole lot of rewatchability out of it, but with the acting and setting and all of the costume design and everything, I still think it's a phenomenal movie. And
I think rewatchability in the first couple months is rough.
Oh, yeah.
But like a year from now, if I see it, I'll hit play.
you'll be like,
Next
oh,
time
this
we
is
elect
nice.
another pope.
Yeah.
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 But all that being said, I think I'm going to go the same. I think A is probably where I'm going to land on this one. So great movie.
I don't have any real complaints about it. Yeah, all the acting is great. The story's great. The limited amount of cinematography that they had was fine. I give it an A-. It's just a little slow.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
It gets a little murky in the middle, but it does clear itself out completely in the end.
Yeah.
So if it
Yeah.
ends well for me, you're going to get a higher mark. So I'm going to give it A-.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
So A?
I'm good with an A. Yeah.
A works for me. Go
Sounds
watch
good.
Conclave.
Yeah. All right.
All right, cool.
Have a good one.
Until next time.
Oi, oi.
Later.